Morning, everybody. This is Joe Sinnona, and I'm stepping in for Brock this morning. And I want to thank him first for giving me the opportunity to speak to all of you today. Most of you may or may not know me, but I'm a global speaker in the speaking world. And Brock and I have partnered for an event in January 8th. If you're in New York, come to our Lead to List seminar, our conference. Brock will be speaking there. I'll be co-hosting the event. This is my 7th annual event, and it's called The Future Is Now. And that's what I want to talk to you about this morning is the future. What is the future of real estate? What is your future in real estate? Do you even know how to even talk about the future without kind of getting all nervous and apprehensive about discussions about your business? And a lot of people do that. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about this morning, is that the mindset of a person's business is not always there. It's actually sometimes non-existent because we exist to exist in our business. You know what I'm saying? And we just keep on doing our transactions without even paying attention to how we are feeling, how we are doing, how we are reacting to things. And a lot of us just don't take the time to do it, what I call an introspect. Introspect is when you look inwards to yourself and you say to yourself, what can I be doing for my business? What could I be doing for myself? Do I take the time to just pause a little bit and smell those beautiful roses that are suddenly disappearing because it's going to be winter up here in the Northeast soon? I won't even acknowledge that future because I'm still wearing my summer clothes. If you saw what I was wearing downstairs, you would say, oh, he's in a summer mode. That's because I would always as a kid, I would hate this time of year, this fall, this change, this whole season of fall. Now I embrace it to my heart's desire. You know why? Because I always look at the fall as the season of not just change, but the opportunity to change habits, to change the things that need to be changed. So let me share with you something personal. Recently, August 1st, I dissolved my team. I'm a solo agent again. I'm out there just like everyone else who doesn't have a team, and I'm working solo in the real estate business. Now, some would say that is the most craziest thing that you've ever done, Joe Sinnona. But for me, it was an opportunity to change the dynamic of what I was doing. Because when I was doing this, when I was managing and overseeing a team, I could not get my regular work done because I was too busy training people to, do their own business. And I left and I kept my eyes off of my business. And for many years, I did that. In fact, I didn't do it just once or twice. I did it 3 times. 3 times I started a team and I failed successfully at it. Some people can win at something and I could fail at something successfully. And when I say fail at something successfully, I don't mean like, the money wasn't there. The money was there, but the mindset kept saying to me, Joe, why are you overseeing? I don't like the word babysitting because that's too condescending for people who are adults. But when you oversee someone, when you look on them to see that they are doing their business and you constantly repeat yourself and constantly, it's like banging your head against the wall. So I decided that I was going to dissolve the team, that I was going to give them their own wings to fly. Some of them were ready to go. And some of them kept hanging on like a leech, And I felt so bad because in doing this, I actually gave them the wings to mature a little bit more. I gave myself the wings to mature. Butterflies, before they become butterflies, what? They go through the metamorphosis of change. We are in the season of change right now. And if you're not one of those people that embraces change like I was, right? Then you have to say to yourself, what is my purpose here in this business? What is my purpose here in life? Everyone has a purpose. I don't know what your purpose is. I don't know what anybody here's purpose is, but my purpose here is to put a footprint down on the mindset and have the mindset reset so that every day is a new day to do this. And that's what you have to say to yourself. Every day that I work in this business or whatever business you're doing, I have to really look at it as something that I can turn. It's like an onion. You peel an old onion and you got that newness, right? So you're peeling back this skin that needs to be pulled back because that's what change is about. Change doesn't happen just so instinctively. Change happens after a period of time living in the mundane world. And, in this crazy world of ours, and I always say it's a crazy world of ours, right? We don't have to adapt to anybody's change except our own. So maybe tomorrow I'll learn how to time block my day a little bit better. Maybe I'll take a walk like Justina's doing right now on that beautiful beach. It looks like Miami. Is that Miami over there? Yeah, I think it does, right? Right? Or somewhere. It's much more beautiful than what's happening right now in New York, right? It's rain, it's dark, it's dreary. But you see, I'm wearing light clothes. I'm wearing happier clothes because I'm adapting to my mood right now. If Brock only knew that I didn't want to get up this morning because I have some sort of a sinus thing going on and I barely moved this morning. And he's texting me at 7 something in the morning, giving me instructions for this seminar right now on how to get in and everything. And I'm like, oh, should I tell him that I don't want to go? No, I had to turn that around. I couldn't disappoint my friend over here. I couldn't just sit there and make all sorts of excuses. And that's what the human, instinct would have been. But you got to be someone else entirely in this business, in this world. I'm not saying to be fake. I'm not fake. I just don't want to cave in to the rest of the world that follows this long path off of a bridge. If everybody, I always tell my daughters this, if everybody jumped off the bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge, I always say the Brooklyn, I said, Victoria, are you going to jump off the bridge with them? And that's why I always say, become a leader, not a follower. Because when you're a follower, that's when you become mundane. And that's when things start getting boring and very, very boring to yourself. It becomes this shell, this ugly piece of skin that you get trapped in that skin. See? And the mindset has to say to you, you have to say to it, no, no more, no more. Like Popeye the Sailor Man. If everybody remembers, Popeye was my best example as a child. Popeye is where I learned affirmations. And the one affirmation that Popeye made when he got beaten up all the time was he used to say, what I can stands is when I can't stands no more. That's an affirmation. So when are you going to say to yourself, when what I can't stands is when I can't stands no more? Les Brown has a great quote. He's a good friend of mine. And he always says, aren't you tired of being sick and tired? Right? When he said that to me, I was like, wow, that's a revelation unto itself. Because some people don't realize they are in this little mundane world, this little shell where they feel comfortable. You got to get out of your comfort zone, ladies and gentlemen. You got to make sure that while you are in this comfort zone of, feeling great, it's time to change. It's time to really roll back and say to yourself, what I can't stand is when I can't stand no more, you know? And being comfortable is a good feeling, but people get lost in that feeling. In the real estate business, they get so lost in that feeling that they lose interest in doing the things that are necessary in order to be productive. So they become apathetic. That's the worst feeling in the world. Because once apathy sets in to ourselves, then what happens? We get lost in the sauce and we get disinterested in our real estate business. See, it was so easy for me to say, let me sit in this bed this morning and feel, what I'm feeling. But I had to say, you know what? No, I can't. There's a purpose here. There's a message that I have to get out today. And I don't know who's listening to this message, but something is going to resonate in the mindset of all of you. Maybe it's me too. Maybe I'm the one that needs to hear my own message, because sometimes all of us have this Charlie Brown voice inside of us going, what, and we're listening to the same garbage, that we get caught up and we get lost in the sauce of our own disappointment, our own disgust. And that's the time to say, what I can't stand is when I can't stand no more. Because if you just make that one affirmation, that one step, and that's all it takes. And it doesn't matter what day of the week, it doesn't matter what time of the month you go and do this. And I don't want to see you do this on December 31st while you have a glass of champagne in your hand and a party noise, to bring in the new year. See, everybody thinks that the new year begins on January 1st. I am saying today, Happy New Year. Because today is the same day as New Year's Day to start all over again. This Friday, if you will join me, I'm going to be doing what's called a vision boarding, my way, with mindset and renewal of your promises, renewal of your manifestations. I will be a Friday on Instagram under Sinnona Speaks. I'll be doing this, and I'll be doing goal setting. Why? It's a free seminar. Why wouldn't you come? It's free. My favorite 4-letter word. It's free. And if you don't know how to do a vision board my way, or goal setting my way, long-term goals, short-term goals, personal goals, professional goals, this seminar was designed to help you so that you can recharge, you can start anew, if you will, in September. September is always my month, I always say, to remember. Remember what? Remember to do the things that I forget to do on December 31st. On December 31st, I want to ring in the new year with my family. I want to be grateful. I want to look up to God and say, Jesus, I'm here. God bless me. I'm still breathing after all this crap in the world. And we are survivors. We are strong. And we need to make that affirmation, because nobody is making it for us. Back in college, I went to see a guidance counselor, and she said something very profound to me. And I said, are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? And she goes, no, I'm in my mindset. And I never heard that word until Kim told me that. She said, Joe, you better start changing the way you do things, the way you accept things. You won't even accept the fall season. She knew that too. Because when I walked into her office, she had the window open and the leaves were blowing into her desk. And she goes, isn't this beautiful? It's fall. And she took the leaves and she went, and she really smelled her roses, but there were leaves. And she embraced that change. And I said, I hate the fall. She goes, I know that about you. She says, but there's one thing that you must remember. You were born in this world alone, and you die alone. And I was like, how profound is that statement? I was like, are you kidding me right now? I hated the fact that she said that to me. I really did. Because I couldn't believe that at that point, I had to accept the fact that I was alone in this world and I die alone. And I had to accept the change that was coming. See, fall is a beautiful time of year because it's not just the leaves that die, it's the renewal of your spirit that matters. And the renewal of your spirit has so many opportunities, not just in the fall. Fall teaches us to appreciate all the seasons. My least favorite season is summer because it's hot as anything. So I love that San Diego weather, that's 70, 75 weather. That's my perfect weather. But I can't always have that. So I have to adapt to the hot. I have to adapt to the humidity. I have to adapt to the cold. It's called adaptation. And when you adapt in your business, I'm adapting to myself as a solo agent right now. I love every minute of it. My wife doesn't believe me. She goes, I can't believe that you went from this control freak. She calls me a control. I am a control freak. How many people over here are control freaks? Raise your hand. Because if you tell me you're not a control freak, you're a liar. Everybody wants to control something in their life. So raise your hand. Here, I'll raise 2 hands over here in exaltation. Here you go. 2 hands. I'm a control freak. We all like to control the narrative. And the narrative sometimes is written for us to show us the script that we either must follow or change this narrative because somebody else is writing our story. It's not just God, it's somebody else trying to dictate how we live. The business is under attack right now. The real estate, if you're in the real estate business and you understand that our business is under attack, raise your hand or throw me some stars, throw me some love in the chat. I don't say number 5 like Brock does. So I'll say number 6. Throw me a 6 if you believe that our real estate business is under attack, because it is. So what do we have to do? We don't counterattack. We do our business and change and learn and do the things that are necessary, as Les Brown would say, to survive, to serve, to do the things that are necessary for not just our survival, but for the people that we serve. We are servers in this life. We advocate in this world. If I told you this story, which is so long, I won't even go into it, but I am going through something with a listing of mine where the woman that whose house it is was my first client in real estate over 37 years ago. I called her mom. And now I have to deal with the children who are selling the house. There's some myriad of issues going on. And all I keep doing is coming in and I've been cleaning up the messes of the deal. The attorney himself, his paralegal told me yesterday, oh, he doesn't talk to real estate agents. And I said, wow. Well, when he gets off his perch, I told her, I said, I'll be right here to answer any of his questions. And she was like surprised that I said that. I said, don't be surprised. See, at the end of the day, we're equal human beings. We can speak to one another. Lately, it feels like our voices have become silent, that we can't have conversations with each other. We can have those conversations with one another, as long as we don't get out of control. See, when we try to control again the narrative and say, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right, you're wrong, that's when we clash as human beings. So, ladies and gentlemen, today is about change. Today is about how you want to be perceived and how you want to perceive yourself, how you want to understand that the mind can be reset at any time, any portion of the year. It doesn't have to wait until December 1st to write your goals and write your ambitions and your vision board. You can start anytime you want. Today is my new fiscal year, starting September 25th, you could say. So from September 25th to September 25th of 2026, that's my fiscal year. Why does it have to be January 1st? to December 31st. No. See, that's the one thing I've learned about having a team is that you could always start over. Tomorrow's a new day. Today is a new day. It hasn't even begun. And I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to start it here with you. So I have issues. I have problems. I have things just like all of you. But the way I handle mine, right, is the way I handle it. That one day in Kim's office that taught me how to embrace the change, taught me that I'm in this world alone. I die alone, but I'm here to serve. So if you have any questions, I'll take some questions for you. Brock, I see you're at your desk ready and raring to go. Thank you again for the opportunity, my friend. Still have the sinus headache, but that's okay. Does anybody have any questions I can help them with? I'll take some before we depart.
I was laughing this morning when you told me you had your sinus infection. So I can only imagine it's when we make previous day decisions for future events, it doesn't really coincide, or it's like, what was I thinking? What was I doing? I used to do this all the time when I was drinking. I'm like, what the hell did I say? What did I do? And I was like, thank goodness I remember everything. I was
I
listening
said,
to a
I
pod.
said, I will not disappoint my friend. I have to go on this show. I have to do the things. My wife even called me crazy. She goes, "You look like crap." I said, "Well, then I better," and I kept going like this. I better start looking like Joe Sinnona again. And I feel good because I changed the attitude. I changed that script. I was feeling like garbage, but I was feeling much, much better. Like as I was counting the minutes here and I was sitting here, I'm going, all right, do they want to see somebody who's sick or do they want to see somebody who is tired of being sick and tired?
Mm,
And you can
you know that
change that narrative again.
the saying, your attitude sets your altitude. And I was listening to a podcast with Ed Milet, and he was asking, I forgot who he was asking, and he said, what makes successful people? What makes those people different? And he says it's one word. And I truly believe it. And just you're living proof of it this morning. And the guy said on Ed's show, he said, attitude. Your attitude on how you approach things, your attitude and how, because it's very easy. Jennifer, who walks every morning, has a choice whether or not she is going to walk, she is going to be on this show, whether she's going to listen in, whether you're going to be here, Coach, whether John Hart's going to be here, Michelle, Kat, Grace, Louie, Paul, whoever, everybody, Diane, everybody has a choice every single morning, and whether or not what they're going to do and your attitude to it. And just like you said, real estate's being under attack. I hate to say it all, but there's life is going to present you challenges, storms, and it's up to you whether or not you're like, you know what, I'm just going to put a rain jacket on today, and I'm still going to embrace it. You know what, I need more than a rain jacket. I need a rain jacket and a poncho. You know what, I'm going to need more than a rain jacket and a poncho. I'm going to need an umbrella. You know what else? I'm going to need a tarp. Hell, I don't know what type of storm we got going on. People, when storms, we got sandbags. We protect ourselves, but we keep on what? Moving on, moving forward. And to me, I really resonated with attitude, and I resonated with you this morning because sometimes it's not even physical stuff. It's mental stuff that gets us
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. And I have to tell you, it was a long time before I realized that I could reset that attitude. And I'm glad I caught it way into my late 40s. I'm 56 years old now, and I feel like life has a new purpose, a new understanding. So that for the second half of my life, and I say the second half because my mother's 101. So I figured if she can live to 101, I can live to 101 and
There
bother
you
the
go.
hell out of everybody. Right. So I said to myself, I said, Joe, for the next 40 something years of your life, all I want you to do, And maybe it's the voice of God, or maybe it's the voice of Joe Sinnona saying this to Joe Sinnona. But for the next 40 something years, I want you to like really pour into the spirit of people, because I think the spirit of a lot of people's lives are, they've been robbed by the negativity and the fear that they have inside. And we need to pour into each other and lift each other's spirits and say to one another, what I can't stand is what I can't stand no more. Now get up and fight, fight, fight for the things that you want in this world, for yourselves, for your clientele, for your business, for your future, for your children, for your wife, for your husband, or your significant other. It's a constant, it's not a strife. It's a constant journey. It's a journey. And at the end of the journey, I have this funny feeling that God's going to turn around and he's going to say, now, do you feel fulfilled? Did you do all the things that you feel was necessary to achieve in this world before you come into the next world? Did you feel that you served the people the right way? Did you serve yourself the way you should have been served? Did you do works of good, more works of good than works of evil? Did you do the things that you needed to do on this earth? And I will give him a resounding yes, because I look back at my life and I say, wow, that 12-year-old boy who lost his dad, that 14-year-old boy that lost his grandmother figure, that pain, that suffering, that deliverance from all the misery and dangers and want, all the things that I felt back then. I didn't erase them because I still recall them. I just need to move on and to keep pouring in the light. When I walk in a room, I get this now. I never got this before in my entire life. But people are like, you're like a light. I never even heard of that until the last couple of years. A light of what? I kept saying. A light of good, a light of abundance, a light of what light are you talking about? I always want to tell people. And then I do the introspect and I say, my goodness, you have a light about you, that you are affecting change in people's lives and you don't even know it yet. So yes, a resounding yes at the end of my life. And I want everybody to say that they will have a resounding yes, because they will teach others. They will pour into others. The only way a light gets transferred from one human being to another is the willingness to light up others. And you must have this willingness to never, ever give up your light, but to share it with others. I forget that saying, that picture on a Hallmark card, a light that gets transferred from this one big light, a light that lights up the entire world. I forget the saying, but it's such a beautiful saying. And I always think of that candle, that light going out to people, that upliftment.
I love it, man. I love it. The especially so much darkness that we face and we deal with, whatever it might be in your life, whatever challenge you got going on, whatever outside noise that you have, yeah, Rosario, you got to protect your light. You know, I mean, I was telling another real estate agent yesterday, I was telling her, I don't know exactly how the conversation was. I said, but everybody's trying to sabotage this deal. I got a roofer coming to sabotage it. I got a termite person coming to sabotage it. I got a title company. I got an appraiser. I'm like, all these people are entering into this. I was telling my seller this. She's like, why are all these people coming in here? I said, because they're trying to sabotage the deal. And the reason why you hired me is to solve all these problems. And it is that reminder of what our job is, and to put value into your job, because when you get paid, they look at that paycheck and they're like, man, I can't believe I paid him that much money. Well, this is the process that you go through when you're helping them solve all these problems to get them to this point, because I guarantee it, which just like this person is they don't have a mortgage and they're going to make a lot more money than I'm going to make. But I help them protect that money because if not, so many people are trying to attack. And in attacking is, and you don't fault the buyer agent because the buyer agent is doing their job. And in life, our job is to be able to be around like-minded people. Our job is to find people that have the light to help us grow, to help us go in the direction that we need to go into. I always love the story when Tim Grover told Michael Jordan, and he says, "Man, I got some butterflies in his stomach," when he was getting ready for a big game. And he told Michael Jordan, he says, "Good. Just make sure they're all going in the same direction." And I just was like, you know what? That is so true. Butterflies is being uncomfortable, but you have to grow through that. And you just got to lean in and go in the right direction that you need to go into. So, with that, coach, I'll let you close us out. And thank you so very much. We got figured out Friday tomorrow, everybody at 8:15. But, coach, close us out as I got to bring my daughter to school.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Brock. Thank you for everybody for listening today. Go out there, affect change. Change is not bad, I've discovered in the last couple of years. So by peeling out the onion in your life or just by turning the page, it's necessary sometimes so that you feel invigorated. And it's like a whole new discovery unto itself. So just go out and be the change out there. That's my message for the next couple of weeks as we enter the fall season, and the season is always there. That's the message. The season of change is always there. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you again.